Have you ever wondered how far human ambition can go when power and faith intersect? What if I told you that, amidst the shadowy corridors of the Vatican, there are rumors of an unimaginable pact between high-ranking clergy members and dark forces? According to controversial theories, cardinals are performing secret rituals, not to protect humanity, but to hasten the apocalypse described in the Book of Revelation. Welcome to another night where mysteries never sleep. I am Midnight, and this is 7 Nights. Why would men devoted to faith be capable of something so profane? Could it be a desperate attempt to bring salvation to the world through extreme means, or merely an unbridled quest for control? That's exactly what we are going to explore now. The pact among the high clergy. Since the rise of the Catholic Church as one of the most influential institutions in history, theories about conspiracies involving its leadership have always existed. However, the idea that some cardinals are performing satanic rituals to accelerate the apocalypse challenges even the darkest assumptions. I know this sounds more like the plot of a horror series than reality, but hey, human creativity never disappoints. According to unconfirmed but widely discussed sources in conspiracy research circles, these occult ceremonies aim to trigger the events described in the Book of Revelation, bringing the end of times sooner than expected. To understand this theory, one must return to biblical teachings. The Book of Revelation speaks of a period of absolute chaos preceding the return of Christ. From this perspective, it is believed that some members of the high clergy interpret that humanity must undergo complete purification before the arrival of the divine kingdom. But how can one justify using practices contrary to Christian principles? Wouldn't that be a glaring contradiction? These leaders, according to the theories, would view such acts as a necessary evil to expedite the arrival of salvation. Sources suggest that the involvement of these cardinals with the occult began to gain momentum in the late 20th century amid the global tension of the Cold War. An anonymous report, allegedly leaked from within the Vatican, mentioned clandestine meetings where clergy members discussed aligning with higher forces to fulfill the divine plan. These meetings, reportedly coded as the Council of Darkness, were said to take place in inaccessible locations, away from public and even other church members' eyes. Accounts indicate that one of the most disturbing elements of these meetings is the use of ancient texts, such as grimoires and forbidden manuscripts, supposedly acquired by the Church over the centuries. Books like the Grimorium Verum and the Book of Honorius, both linked to black magic practices, were reportedly consulted for the rituals. Why would the Church, so meticulous about its dogmas, keep such dangerous texts? Some believe these documents were preserved precisely for study and use in extreme situations. Another curious detail involves the choice of dates for the supposed rituals. According to independent researchers, the ceremonies would occur during specific astrological events, such as lunar eclipses or planetary alignments. These dates, laden with esoteric significance, were seen as moments when the barrier between the physical and spiritual worlds would be thinner, allowing a more direct connection with the evoked forces. Symbols frequently cited in these rituals include inverted pentagrams, broken crosses, and even the use of blood as a central element. Here arises another crucial question. Where does this blood come from? Some reports suggest that small dissident groups, infiltrated within the church, could be involved in macabre practices to obtain the necessary materials. Although shocking, these claims remain without direct evidence but still cast a shadow of doubt. We cannot ignore the relevance of the motivations that could lead these clerics to perform such rituals. A common argument among theorists is that they genuinely believe they are acting in God's name. For them, suffering and chaos are tools to purify the world, creating an environment conducive to the Messiah's arrival. However, others see this as merely a pretext to justify hidden interests, such as strengthening political and spiritual control over the global population. Interestingly, historical documents indicate that this vision is not new. During the Middle Ages, there were records of secret practices carried out by clerics who believed in extreme interpretations of the scriptures. These events, although rarely documented in detail, are used as a basis to support the theory that such practices never ceased. They merely became more sophisticated and secretive. But why have these theories only recently gained traction? The answer may lie in technological advancements and the dissemination of information via the internet. With the leaking of documents and anonymous testimonies, speculations about occult rituals in the Vatican moved from underground stories to global discussions. This raises another important question. Could there be any truth amidst so many theories? One of the most frequently cited cases as evidence of these practices is the mysterious disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi, a young woman connected to the Vatican. Although never officially linked to rituals, her disappearance is often mentioned as proof that something much darker occurs in the shadows of the Church. Could the Vatican be hiding secrets so deep that it silences even lives? Another frequently pointed out piece of evidence is the architecture of the Vatican itself. Many researchers highlight the use of symbols reminiscent of paganism and occultism in the site's constructions. While some claim this is merely part of Renaissance art, others see these details as clues intentionally left by those wishing to preserve the truth. Finally, the question remains, if these practices truly exist, what would be the next step? Advocates of the theory believe that if these rituals continue, the world could enter a cycle of unprecedented destruction. What could be behind these actions? A distorted belief, or something even more disturbing? The secret order within the Church. Behind the ornate doors of the Vatican, where spiritual and political power intertwine, persistent rumors circulate about the existence of a secret order. Ornate doors, secrets, and power? It seems we are about to open one of those chests best left locked. Known among theorists by names like the Elect or the Guardians of the Last Prophecy, this organization would consist of a select group of cardinals, priests, and scholars who dedicate their lives to protecting and executing a hidden plan. But who are they? And how have they managed to stay in the shadows for so long? To grasp the magnitude of this order, one must return to the past. Over the centuries, the Catholic Church absorbed many practices from civilizations it conquered or influenced. Part of this knowledge was hidden, deemed too dangerous to be disclosed to the public. Texts, rituals, and even mystical objects supposedly became the property of a privileged caste, created to safeguard and, at certain moments, utilize these secrets. The order's structure would be rigidly hierarchical. At the top would be the supreme initiates, figures who answer directly to the Pope but may also influence him. Beneath them, the bearers of the flame act as intermediaries, conducting secret meetings and ensuring that rituals are carried out precisely. Finally, there would be the novices of the shadows, members in training who must prove their loyalty through complex and morally ambiguous tasks. The recruitment process would be as mysterious as the order itself. Candidates do not voluntarily apply. They are chosen based on criteria that remain an enigma. Some researchers believe that selection is made through meticulous observation, seeking those with specific traits such as above-average intelligence, strategic skills, and a willingness to explore the limits of faith. There is evidence suggesting that the selection also involves some sort of initiation ritual. But what would be the purpose of this order? Theories suggest that they believe they are the only ones capable of maintaining balance between conflicting spiritual forces. For them, humanity would not be ready to face cosmic truths, and thus, certain secrets must be controlled. However, their critics argue that this logic is merely a disguise to justify dark acts and ensure the monopoly of spiritual power. An example of this would be the alleged connection of the order to global events. During the 18th and 19th centuries, when revolutions transformed the world, many political and social movements were associated with occult practices. Some alternative historians claim that members of this order influenced these events, manipulating leaders and strategic decisions in the name of a greater good that was never fully explained. Accounts from former church members also reinforce the existence of this order. A French priest who mysteriously disappeared in 1978 after openly criticizing the Vatican left letters detailing secret ceremonies held in isolated locations. He described a charged atmosphere with chants in unknown languages and strange symbols that seemed to radiate unsettling energy. The most shocking detail? He claimed that some participants displayed blind devotion, believing they were fulfilling the divine will. The order's connection to modern technology is also an intriguing aspect. It is believed that members of this organization use artificial intelligence and advanced systems to analyze global patterns and predict crises. This data would be used to adjust their actions and ensure that their rituals and hidden plans align with world events. This raises a disturbing question. To what extent is the Vatican secretly monitoring the world? A fascinating example is the Vatican Observatory, located in Castel Gandolfo, Italy. Officially, its function is to study celestial bodies, but theorists suggest it serves much darker purposes. The secret order supposedly uses the observatory to track astrological events and identify power windows for their rituals. Could this scientific institute actually be a facade for occult practices? Another crucial aspect is the political connections of the order. According to researchers, world leaders often visit the Vatican for meetings that are never recorded in official agendas. These interactions could be simple diplomatic encounters or something much deeper. Could they be negotiating secret agreements, influenced by the order to shape the future of humanity? The existence of this organization also raises an unsettling question. What if the Church itself was created as a vehicle for these hidden objectives? Some scholars suggest that since its inception, Christianity has used elements of social control and indoctrination to consolidate its influence. Could the secret order be merely the natural evolution of this strategy, now adapted to the modern world? Despite the lack of conclusive evidence, the consistency of the accounts and the persistence of the theories raise questions that cannot be ignored. If this order truly exists, does it represent a force for preserving spiritual balance or an imminent danger to humanity? And above all, who are the minds behind it? The sinister altar beneath the Vatican. St. Peter's Basilica, with its imposing architecture and atmosphere of reverence, harbors secrets beneath its surface that defy understanding. Underneath the dazzling mosaics and towering columns, some claim there lies a hidden space, a sinister altar used for purposes far removed from Christian principles. Dubbed the Altar of Darkness by theorists, it is said to be the epicenter of ceremonies aimed at hastening the apocalypse. This underground space would be inaccessible to most, protected by layers of security, including secret corridors and sealed chambers. Researchers point out that beneath the Vatican lies a vast network of ancient catacombs and crypts, some dating back to the early centuries of Christianity. It is in one of these locations, they suggest, that the altar is hidden, adorned with symbols radically different from traditional Christian iconography. But why would the Church maintain such a space? Some speculate it was not originally created for dark practices, but as part of pre-Christian cults absorbed by the Church during its expansion. In the early centuries, pagan temples were often repurposed, and perhaps some of this symbolism endured. However, this explanation does not clarify why, according to reports, the space has been reactivated by certain clergy members in modern times. The altar, described in alleged leaked documents, is said to consist of a black stone structure engraved with inscriptions in ancient languages, such as archaic Latin and cuneiform symbols. Details like pentagrams, inverted crosses, and intricate geometric figures suggest a connection to rituals that transcend the Christian faith. This raises the question, are these inscriptions remnants of ancient practices, or deliberately incorporated by those currently using the altar? A particularly unsettling detail is the alleged presence of a carved throne in the area, used by the officiant of the ritual. This throne, according to speculation, serves as a channel for the manifested entity. Ancient texts such as De Mysteriis suggest that ceremonial seats were often used as spiritual anchoring points in old cults. Could something similar be happening in the heart of the Vatican? Adding to the mystery is the Vatican's silence on these allegations. On various occasions, the Church has denied any involvement with occult practices, but avoided directly addressing questions about the existence of these specific underground crypts. Is this merely a strategy to avoid sensationalism, or is there something deeper to hide? The altar's location also appears to be closely linked to celestial events. According to alternative scholars, ceremonies conducted there are synchronized with astrologically significant dates such as solstices and equinoxes. Cosmic alignment is seen as a way to amplify the power of the ritual, reflecting ancient beliefs about the influence of celestial bodies on the spiritual plane. There are also indications that the site houses macabre relics. Skulls, bones, and fragments of organic material are said to be used as conductors for summoned energies. Such practices are reminiscent of ancient necromancy rituals, widely condemned by the Church, yet seemingly revived in the hands of its own leaders. How can this be overlooked in the 21st century? One of the most unsettling questions is, who participates in these ceremonies? According to accounts, it is not only cardinals and high-ranking clergy, but also individuals outside the Church, allegedly belonging to secret orders with shared objectives. This transnational collaboration suggests that what occurs beneath the Vatican extends beyond the religious sphere and may be intrinsically tied to global politics. Another layer of complexity is added by the claim that audiovisual records of these practices exist. A former Vatican employee, speaking anonymously, stated that videos and photographs were taken during these rituals, but are kept in highly secure archives. If such evidence truly exists, why has it not come to light? Could these images be used as a tool for blackmail within the church's own hierarchy? Some claim the vibrations emanating from this altar can be felt at the surface. Residents near the Vatican have reported inexplicable sounds at night, such as chants in strange languages and noises resembling muffled screams. Imagine trying to sleep and hearing something like that. Just thinking about it makes you want to move far away. While these accounts could be dismissed as mere superstition, the coincidence with the alleged ceremony dates cannot be ignored. Furthermore, an intriguing detail is the increase in sightings of strange phenomena in the skies around the Vatican, such as inexplicable lights and unidentified flying objects. Could these be manifestations of the forces summoned at the altar? Or are they merely natural phenomena misinterpreted? Whatever the answer, the mystery continues to intrigue researchers and onlookers. At the center of this discussion, one question persists. If such rituals truly occur, what is their ultimate goal? The destruction of the world, as some believe, or the manipulation of events to secure absolute control? What is truly happening beneath St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican's forbidden library? Hidden deep within the Vatican, surrounded by high walls and vigilant guards, lies the Vatican Apostolic Library. Officially, it houses over 1.1 million books, 75,000 manuscripts, and 8,000 incunabula, one of the largest and most valuable collections in the world. But rumors suggest this is merely the visible face of a far more sinister archive. It is said that a hidden section, informally known as the Forbidden Library, contains secrets so dangerous they could shake the foundations of civilization. If it's forbidden, you know human curiosity shoots through the roof. Who wouldn't want just a little peek? This library, inaccessible to the public and even most scholars, is guarded with extreme secrecy. Only the Pope and a select few cardinals have full access to its contents. What could be so important as to warrant such security? According to theorists, what is hidden inside goes far beyond religious books or historical documents. One central piece of this mystery is the grimoires. Books of magic, such as the Grimorium Verum or the Book of Honorius, are said to be among the oldest and most dangerous items in the collection. These texts, detailing rituals for summoning spiritual entities, are considered forbidden even by the Church. Why, then, does the Holy See keep them in secret? Are they being studied to combat these practices, or, in a more disturbing scenario, to use them? Another fascinating element is the alleged apocryphal documents related to the life of Jesus Christ. These texts might include alternative versions of the Gospels, records of supernatural events the Church preferred to conceal, or even evidence that certain Bible passages were deliberately altered over the centuries. Could these documents contradict the Church's official narrative? One of the most mysterious items rumored to be in the library is the so-called Liber Luciferus, a medieval manuscript that describes encounters between religious leaders and celestial and infernal entities. This book is said to be the key to understanding why some high-ranking clergy members seem so interested in occult practices. But does it really exist? And if it does, what could its purpose be? The library is also believed to be filled with ancient and unknown maps, some depicting mysterious regions that do not appear in any modern records. An intriguing theory suggests that these maps could contain clues about lost civilizations or even portals to other planes of existence. Could the Vatican hold information about places like Atlantis or Lemuria that it chose not to share with the world? Additionally, there are records pointing to the existence of texts related to extraterrestrial contact. According to theorists, documents describing sightings of strange lights in the sky or interactions with celestial beings may be stored in the depths of the library. This raises an important question. What does the Vatican know about the possibility of life beyond Earth? And why would they prefer to keep this information hidden? Another element that draws attention is the records from the Crusades. It is believed that during this period, the Church accumulated not only material riches, but also secret manuscripts taken from cultures like the Arab and Byzantine. Some of these texts could contain information about alchemy, immortality, or even the true meaning of obscure passages in the Bible. Theorists also point to the possibility of treaties between the Vatican and other secret orders, such as the Knights Templar or the Illuminati. These documents, if they exist, could shed light on hidden alliances that shaped world history. After all, to what extent did the Church act alone in its quest for power and influence? Curiously, the architecture of the library itself is shrouded in mystery. It is said that secret corridors and hidden passageways connect the most important rooms to underground crypts. These tunnels, built centuries ago, were supposedly used to transport the most valuable items unnoticed. Are these spaces still in use? And what could be hidden in the deepest layers? There are also reports about the conditions for consulting the permitted texts. Researchers need special authorization and can only access books under strict supervision. Moreover, study time is limited, and most manuscripts are so well protected that not even digital copies have been made available. Why such tight control? Is it solely to preserve the items, or is there something more sinister at play? Despite everything, the Church has always categorically denied the existence of a forbidden library. According to them, the collection is a center for study and preservation, and there is nothing hidden that contradicts Christian teachings. But is this stance merely a facade to protect priceless secrets? At the heart of this mystery arises the question, what would happen if the contents of the forbidden library were revealed to the world? Would this information change our understanding of history, spirituality, and even science? Or would it bring about such profound chaos that it would justify the Vatican's absolute silence? The role of technology in modern rituals in the information age, where technology permeates nearly every aspect of our lives, it's not surprising that even spiritual and occult rituals might have evolved to include technological tools. Theorists believe that within the Vatican, powerful forces are utilizing technology to amplify the effects of secret rituals, achieving a level of precision and impact never before seen. But how does this work? And why is the use of modern technology in something as archaic as spiritual rituals so alarming? So, even rituals have entered the digital age? That's an upgrade no one expected in the package of modernity. To start, technology could be used to create the perfect environment. Specific sound frequencies, resonating in ranges known for their effects on the human brain, may be generated to induce trance states or open spiritual portals. These frequencies, known as binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies, are already studied in neuroscience for their ability to alter perception. However, in the wrong hands, they could be used to manipulate consciousness or amplify occult intentions. Furthermore, lighting control in modern rituals could be another application of technology. Pulsating lights synchronized with chants and ritualistic movements could create a hypnotic state in participants. Imagine a hidden chamber beneath the Vatican equipped with state-of-the-art devices where lights and sounds work together to summon forces most of us cannot even conceive. Could this be the next generation of occultism? Another critical tool would be data analysis. Advanced artificial intelligence software can identify patterns in global events, such as natural disasters, political instability, or even collective behaviors. This data could be used to calculate the exact moments when performing a ritual would have the greatest impact. For example, conducting a ceremonial act during a solar eclipse at a specific point on the planet, maximized by using meteorological, astrological, and social information. Transmission technology also plays a central role. Radio waves and other electromagnetic signals could be manipulated to send energies to specific locations, influencing the spiritual and even emotional atmosphere of a region. Some theorists claim this has already been done during major impactful events, such as wars or pandemics, to intensify chaos or redirect humanity's focus to specific issues. A more terrifying theory involves the use of holograms. According to alternative researchers, the Vatican could be exploring this technology to create visual manifestations that reinforce the faith of followers or even intimidate those who question the Church's power. Imagine seeing an angelic or demonic figure at a crucial moment without realizing it is a machine-generated projection. This raises an important question. Are we prepared to distinguish the spiritual from the technological? Advances in virtual reality also enter the scenario. The creation of simulated spaces where rituals can be tested or even performed is an intriguing possibility. These virtual environments would allow members of secret orders to experiment with different ritual configurations without physical risk before conducting them in the real world. This practice could be used to predict and avoid failures or amplify expected results. On the other hand, biotechnology is another field where technology could be integrated into modern rituals. Certain rituals, especially those involving symbolic sacrifices or biological materials, could be enhanced through the use of genetically manipulated substances or preparations designed to induce altered states in participants. This concept echoes the use of potions or hallucinogenic substances in ancient practices, now recreated with scientific precision. And we cannot ignore the role of communication networks. The internet and social media can be used to spread subliminal messages or manipulate masses on a global scale. The idea that certain symbols or phrases shared widely online are actually triggers to activate spiritual intentions is frightening, but not impossible. After all, whoever controls digital narratives holds the power to shape the reality perceived by billions. A practical example of this would be the use of high-powered computing servers to calculate the best moments for rituals, considering factors like solar activity, Earth's electromagnetic fields, and even collective behavior. These calculations could determine the precise moment for a ceremonial act to maximize its spiritual or energetic impact. However, the use of technology in these contexts raises profound ethical and philosophical questions. If spirituality traditionally seeks a genuine connection with the divine, wouldn't the introduction of machines and calculations distort that pursuit? Or could it be that, for some, the ultimate goal is absolute power, regardless of the means? Ultimately, the integration of technology into modern rituals forces us to question what else is being hidden from us. Are we dealing with a fusion of science and mysticism that could redefine how we understand the spiritual world? Or is all this merely a reflection of our anxieties in an increasingly technological world? The role of technology in modern rituals is a theme that raises more questions than answers. But one thing is certain: as we advance into the unknown, the line between natural and artificial, spiritual and mechanical, becomes increasingly blurred. The consequences of the pact. If the rituals mentioned truly occur, their impact may extend far beyond the walls of the Vatican. Theorists claim that these acts not only invoke dark forces, but also trigger changes in the spiritual and energetic balance of the planet. Natural disasters, political crises, and pandemics would be just the tip of the iceberg of a much more sinister plan. But how are these connections made? Are there concrete pieces of evidence, or are we merely dealing with a web of coincidences? One of the most discussed arguments is the increase in catastrophic events aligned with dates of occult significance. For instance, in 2004, the tsunami that devastated Southeast Asia occurred just days after a rare planetary alignment. Alternative researchers suggest this could be linked to rituals that destabilize natural energies. Although there is no scientific proof, the coincidence of dates is enough to fuel suspicions. There are also reports from individuals who claim to have experienced inexplicable changes in their physical and mental health after visiting the Vatican. From disturbing dreams to sudden illnesses, these phenomena raise the question: could the energies emanating from these rituals affect people? Or are these experiences merely the result of psychological suggestion induced by the location's mysterious atmosphere? Another point of debate is the alarming intensification of global conflicts. The First and Second World Wars have been associated by some alternative historians with spiritual manipulations carried out by occult groups. Have these practices continued over the past decades, shaping world events for specific purposes? Could a small elite within the clergy possess the ability to influence the destiny of entire nations? The COVID-19 pandemic has also not escaped the radar of theorists. Although the virus's official origin has scientific explanations, some theories suggest it may have been amplified by spiritual forces invoked during rituals. The fear and isolation generated by the pandemic created a global wave of negative energy, something that, according to experts in occultism, would be highly desirable for certain dark entities. But why would anyone seek to unleash such destruction? For many theorists, the answer lies in the concept of creative chaos. By provoking large-scale crises, the architects of the pact would believe they are accelerating the arrival of a new system, an era of perfect order that, for them, can only emerge after the complete collapse of the current order. However, this raises another question: who would define this new order? And with what purpose? Additionally, there are indications that these rituals not only evoke destructive forces, but also aim to manipulate specific individuals. World leaders, celebrities, and even scientists are said to be targets of these energies to make decisions that favor the larger plan. This would explain some inexplicable behavioral changes observed in public figures throughout recent history. Interestingly, sightings of paranormal phenomena have increased in locations associated with these events. In an Italian monastery linked to Vatican investigations, residents reported seeing humanoid shadows and feeling unusual atmospheric pressure. These accounts, though difficult to verify, reinforce the idea that something strange and possibly dangerous is at play. Traditional media, according to conspiracy theorists, is also being used as a tool. Films, series, and books that romanticize the end of the world and normalize chaos are said to be part of a larger effort to prepare humanity to passively accept an apocalyptic fate. Are we being conditioned without realizing it? Another intriguing point is the involvement of other powerful institutions, such as banks and corporate conglomerates, which theoretically are financing or supporting these rituals in exchange for power and influence. This web of intersecting interests makes the pact even more alarming, connecting spirituality, politics, and economics in ways few could imagine. However, the most frightening doubt remains: what if these rituals succeed? Theologians and mystics debate the consequences of a premature apocalypse. Some believe the divine plan would be irrevocably altered, plunging the world into endless chaos. Others, more optimistic, see this as proof that good will always prevail, even in the face of such darkness. Nevertheless, it is hard to ignore the Vatican's silence on these theories. The institution's lack of transparency only fuels suspicions. If none of this is true, why not disclose more information about what happens underground? Why keep secrets instead of dispelling rumors? These questions remain unanswered, leaving room for imagination to run wild. And in the end, the most unsettling question remains: are we living the consequences of a satanic pact carried out in the most sacred corridors of the world? Whether we are or not, only time will tell. But let's be honest, this story is already sparking quite a debate. Or are these stories merely reflections of our own insecurities and fears about an uncertain future? What lies behind the Vatican's walls may be darker than we ever imagined. The idea that a secret order, profane rituals, and forbidden knowledge are being used to manipulate humanity's destiny is disturbing. If these theories are true, we are facing a web of secrets so deep that its revelation could shake faith and power structures worldwide. But for now, all we have are questions that may never be answered. This story is just one piece, and someday we might see the entire puzzle. If this made you think, subscribe and like the video. It helps the channel grow. Don't forget to share. After all, more voices mean more discoveries. If you've made it this far, it's because something in this mystery captivated you. But I bet you haven't seen everything yet. Click on the next videos now to continue your journey into the unknown. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe so you don't miss the next secrets I'm about to reveal. But be careful, once you step inside, there's no turning back.